So it's like 11 o'clock at night, and I am so tired. Hello everyone, it's the TheRamenNoodleGoddess, and today I am going to be talking about Kingdom of Ash. If you didn't see my last video, it was a vlog about me getting this book at Target. What an adventure that was. I'll link that in the description below, but I will be talking about this today, and honestly, it took me like 15 days to finish this. I definitely could have finished it in a shorter time, but I had school and work and homework and everything in between, and I managed to make just enough time to finish this in the dead of night before going to bed. I was so tired when I finished this, but oh my god, I cried so much. First of all, can we just talk about this cover? It is so beautiful. Look at this gold. Look at this. The light is kind of forming a ball of light on her dress. But look at that dress. Look at the hair. Look at everything. Can you see it? Yeah. And now look at the other books. Literally, I put this in my shelf after I finished reading. It looks so out of place. I did not realize this when I first got it. But literally every other book is a dark color. The Assassin's Blade is like, it looks dark because of her hood and like the title part. And then this is like dark and like purple and gray and like red and gray and black and green and black and gray and red and black and blue and darker colors. Literally all dark blue and then just gold. It looks so different. It looks so weird. Honestly, Tower of Dawn kind of messes it up too, just because of the symbol on the front. It's not Aelin on the front. But yeah, I just shook the camera. I'm sorry. Oh my god. The amount of times that I cried during this book, like throughout the entire thing, was maybe 10 times? 10 different times? Maybe a little less. I'm probably exaggerating that. But honestly, I'm going in this video really late. With no plan. I'm winging everything, as one does in the TheRamenNoodleGoddess's videos, and oh my gosh. Okay, so if you don't know what this book is, if you don't know what this series is, this is the 7th and final book in the Throne of Glass series, and I've been reading this for forever, and I'm so excited that this finally, not like excited that it ended, but just like, it's the 7th book. I want the ending, and we got it. But if you don't know what this is, it's a book that it starts out with an assassin in a fae kind of setting, and then a lot of things go down, and it all just, everything happens from there. That's all I can really say, I feel like, without totally spoiling everything, especially if you haven't read the first 6 books / Assassin's Blade. And so if you have not read this book or read this series, then I would click away now because there's going to be lots of spoilers in this video. If you have finished this book, now is your time to stay and listen to these details with me, to my rant, and I'm so tired. But the first thing I want to talk about was Mauve and Dorian. I'm pretty sure it's Mauve, that's how you pronounce her name, right? But I want to talk about Mauve and Dorian's encounter and their parting scene in the book, where Dorian rips away her like power to be able to walk through worlds, and then crumbled Morath to the ground. And I guess it has to make for the story, but this is like a review / rant, obviously, in the title, like it says, but I am just so mad that he didn't kill her when he had the chance. And like, it explains why he didn't in the book, but I just thought they were like, not stupid reasons, but just like, it's Mauve. Just kill her, because she's gonna mean like, it's just gonna make so much more trouble like in the future, and obviously it did. Also, I know, okay, I know why everything happened, like the reason why it did happen, because if it didn't, then the element of the story and the plot would go downhill, and Aelin losing her powers, like her Firebringer powers, and is left with a commoner's skill of magic, or whatever Mauve said. That really made me mad. Because that wasn't like, I'm not saying that's like the essence of her character, but that's what we like have known about her, and like have known, or like correlated Firebringer to Aelin since like what, Heir of Fire? Like Queen Shadows? Or I don't know. But that just made me so mad, and like it made me cry. That was one of, I don't know if that was the first time I cried, but that was like the scene where I cried the most, I think, especially when Dorian and Aelin were doing the word gate with the lock and everything, and she like replaced Dorian with his father, and then he got like shoved back into the real world, and then he was screaming and crying, and oh my god, I'm gonna start crying again because I'm remembering it. But that was the one of the times I think that I cried the hardest. I'm literally crying. You can see my eyes watering. And when, oh my god, I loved Rowan's chapters so much. They were probably one of my favorite chapters besides, well, Lorcan's were pretty good too, because like all we really see from other people's perspectives is how like stone-faced he is, and how like he doesn't have any feelings, or like he's just like a beast or whatever. But going into Lorcan's perspective into his chapters were so amazing, because he would talk about Elide and like everything he regretted in the past, and it was just like a roller coaster of emotions. It was crazy. I loved it so much. Back to Rowan. Rowan is like a teddy bear that if you were to cut him open, like knives would come spilling out. And whenever he talks about the mating bond with Aelin, I just burst into tears. I'm still talking specifically about the word gate scene and the lock and Aelin like dying. And when Rowan was on the other side and he was kneeling and he was like crying and he was talking about that mating bond and how it was like ripping to shreds, and suddenly we're back into Aelin's chapters, and then she's like, she hears the voice come back to me, and I just start bawling. Honestly, I don't even think you can comprehend what I'm saying right now, because all I'm saying is what's on my mind at this moment because of the feelings. But personally, I think the most boring chapters were Manon's. I've heard it said both ways. I don't know which is the right one. Don't hate me. But okay, until like page 600-ish and on, I thought her chapters were really boring, only because it was just kind of like her trying to figure out how to get allies and how to bring them back, and just the trek and everything. And the same kind of went for Aiden's chapters / Lyssandra's, but Lyssandra's were a little bit better. Aiden's chapters, mostly boring, that I find boring because it was mostly just about the war, and I get that's pretty much the whole book, but it was just him going battle after battle after battle, and it was just non-stop, like, oh my god, we're gonna die. Okay, this was the whole book, literally. It was, oh my god, we're gonna die. Oh no, wait, there's a surprise, we've been saved. And then it goes back to, oh my god, we're gonna die, we were saved, surprise, oh, we're gonna die, surprise, we're gonna die, surprise. It was literally that the entire book. Like, literally, let me look through this, and I will give you examples. First example, when, in the beginning of the book, when Aelin was trying to escape, Cairn, her torturer, Mauve's Blood Oath Hound, when she escaped, she was planning on dying because she lost hope that her mate was coming for her to find her. So she was going off and dying. So that was like a slow, like, downward spiral into, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Is she actually gonna die? Obviously she doesn't die, because she's the main character and she lives until the end. But then as the reader, you're like, oh my god, Aelin, no, what are you doing? Literally, Rowan and the crew is looking for you right now. They are in the camp. Rowan is going to your tent right now to get you, and you, like, go off running the opposite way. And that was, like, that's kind of like the downfall to the surprise, because Aylin's like running off to die, but then, oh no, surprise, she found her friends, so she's gonna live. And then I think the other one, and then one of the other ones that I remember, I couldn't find the exact place in the book because it's a giant book, but the other one is when they are defending, I don't know how to pronounce it, Aniel, Kale's hometown with his father, and they are like literally, not really, well, they're losing, basically. And I don't know, I don't know how to pronounce anything in this book, but the Kaganate, I don't know, but their army comes with Cashin, and the Rooks and everything, and they come to save the day, but then at the end of the battle, after they win, the flood happens because the dam was broken, and everybody's like, oh my god, this is it, we're literally gonna die. Everybody who's not in the keep is going to die. And also another part of that was when Elide went after Lorcan because he was dead, well, dead somewhere on the battlefield, so she went off like a crazy woman to go get him, and literally they would not have made it back in time because the flood was happening and everybody was like getting flooded. But then Aelin pops out and is like, I'm gonna save the day, and then goes and like puts up her giant like freaking wall of fire and save the day. And that's the surprise. And then, what was the other one? I hope I'm explaining this well enough for you guys to get it, at least if you've read the book, because I suck at explaining things. Like, it's really bad. I guess another thing that was really tiring about this book was the constant, like, almost childish, almost childish relationship-y development. Especially with Aiden and Lysandra and Elide and Lorcan, probably the two main, like, romance relationships that had a lot of trouble, because Elide would not let anything go for good reason. For their relationship, they had fairly good reasons, but then Aiden and Lysandra's relationship just got so petty and annoying to the point where I was like, could you guys just stop and make out already? Like, seriously? Because Lysandra was... Okay, well, it wasn't really Lysandra at first. Or not at first. It was Aiden because of how she had lied to her about masquerading as Aelin and about how Aelin was going to be taken away, and they didn't tell anyone, and Aiden got super mad because apparently he's entitled to every little detail. And that went on for so long. And then suddenly on the verge of her dying and like willing to die to give the soldiers courage to keep fighting, then he's like, oh my god, I didn't mean any of the things I said. I love you. Please don't die. And I was just like, are you kidding me? You're literally too late. And that's what Lysandra said too. She knows what she's talking about. She was like, you have to wait till I'm pretty much dead to tell me that you love me, to tell me that you didn't mean any of the things you said, to tell me that you like just were in your head and you didn't know what you were doing. Like, that was so annoying. And I keep saying, I get why these things happen, but it's just so annoying. That's just, from a reader's perspective, it's annoying. One of the things that stayed the most solid was probably Nezrin and Sartak's relationship, because literally, we didn't hear much from them, but literally, they were just in it for, like, for the long run. Like, bound to be Empress, bound to be Emperor. They were, I mean, I can't say they were definitely gonna live till the end, because literally Gavril dies, and I guess he wasn't, like, a super main character, but, like, I cried at his death. I cried at the Aiden reaction to all the aftermath. I cried when they put him on the table and were, like, crying next to his corpse, and, like, oh, one of the things, I feel like I was so stupid when thinking this while reading this specific part, when Aelin walks into the room with Gavriel's dead body on the table, and then says, like, the stuff about the blood oath, and then cuts her arm and gives him blood. Literally, I was reading the top of the page. This happened, like, towards the bottom of the page, so I was reading the top, and then my eyes accidentally flickered down. My eyes accidentally flicked down, and I saw her doing the blood oath thing, and I went, is he gonna come back to life like Fenris did? But then again, Fenris wasn't technically dead yet, but he was, like, really close to dying, so I guess she saved him while he was still alive, but Gabriel had been dead for quite a while, so I don't know why I thought that, but I guess I just had a tiny bit of reader hope that more happy things would happen. I was wrong. Oh, I found one of the things for Aiden and Lysandra's relationship. This is from Aiden's chapters, and I'm not going to say it because I don't like to curse on my channel because family might be watching this, but I don't know. But he says, the words he'd thrown at her, raged at her, dragged her further from the haze of pain. Oh, wait. I'm just kidding. This wasn't from the scene where he, like, did the bad things and, like, regretted the things. But this is when I think Lysandra and him are making up. Because it says, I'm sorry, she breathed. Aiden took the empty cup of water before he gripped her hand, squeezing gently. I am sorry, Lysandra. I am sorry. I'm sorry. It's just so dramatic sounding when I try to picture it in, like, a movie or a TV show. It just sounds so cheesy and so, like, it's too much. I'm sorry, Lysandra, for all of it. His throat bobbed again. When I saw the Ilken, when I saw you against them, useless lying bee. The words he'd thrown at her raged at her, dragged her further from the haze of pain, sharpened her focus. You did this, he said, voice lowering, for Terrasen, for Aelin. You were willing to die for it, gods above. I was. Her words came out cold as steel. And then blah, 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 regret. He didn't hide the regret from his eyes, blah, blah, blah. Then he said, I meant every promise I made to you on that beach in Skulls Bay. Then he was gone. Their relationship took so long to develop into an actual relationship. It bothers me so much. And this book is so fat. It's literally almost 1,000 pages. That it just felt like, from my friends who were reading it and from everybody else that I saw reviews of, they were like, I want to read this book, but it's just so long that I feel like after an hour, I think I've gotten somewhere, but I've really only read 30 pages. And I was like, okay, I can relate, but at the same time, I was reading so fast. Literally, 2 of my friends who are reading this right now, one is on chapter 6, and then the other one is like, I think also around that little area. And keep in mind, there are 121 chapters. I'm insane. But honestly, 2 days after the book released, 2 days after I bought the book actually, people were tweeting on Twitter that they were already done, and I was like, do you not have a life? Like, I get that you're dedicated to books, but you read a 1,000-page book in 2 days. Like, did you not eat? Did you not sleep? What did you do? What do you do? How do you do it? Teach me. Remember when I had that idea to talk about all of the ups and downs that happened, where it was like, oh, we're dying and now there's a surprise? Yeah, that idea died. Oh, okay, so another surprise from a super defeating dying death would be probably when Aelin came with her witches and her Haganate soldiers and everybody, and the Rooks and the Rookin, and they came in on Lord of the North, and then she was talking to Mauve or something, and then she opens a portal to the old Fae of Terrasen, or I forget what they're actually called, but they come through and start defeating the army, and we don't really see them because, like, that's not really the important part of the story. The important part is Aelin and Mauve, and then Erwin, and then the surprise with Irene and Dorian. It was just a lot. Keep in mind that I told you guys that I cried a lot throughout this book. Keep in mind, I not only cried for the really sad parts, because that would have been a lot of crying, but I also cried for the really happy parts where it was like the ending especially. I cried, and like just when the characters were described the way they were and their emotion, I felt that so deeply because I've been so connected to those characters from day one that I just started crying because it sounds so dramatic and so weird from an outsider's perspective, but I and everybody who's read the Throne of Glass series have seen these characters go through so much, and having that ending means, like, I was feeling all kinds of feelings. And the only thing, literally after every plot twist, well, kind of plot twist, and every, like, surprise, or death and surprise, the one thing that I, like, absolutely hate about this book is that Gabriel died and didn't come back to life. Like, Aelin defeated, or, like, Aelin defied her fate. Dorian defied his fate. Like, why can't Gavin defy his? Like, I guess he didn't have, like, a fate, but, like, he chose to go outside that gate to block the gate and to help them secure it, and then he died. And then Aiden literally couldn't do anything. That was probably the worst part, is that he couldn't do anything, and that he just watched. Well, he didn't really watch, but after he looked over the edge and saw his father frickin' dead on the ground with his throat ripped out. I honestly don't know how long I'm going to be talking about this video, because this has been like 23 minutes of literally just the most random ranting in the world. This is probably the worst review video you've ever seen in your life. I think for my last review video about a book, I actually wrote out notes about what I would be talking about. I did no such thing for this. Oh, and one of the things that I loved the most, and I totally saw it coming, but like reading it happen was really, really cool. But Mauve's death, when Fenris was like still kind of in that haze of illusion and everything, and then like Aelin and everybody else is distracting Mauve, and then suddenly he's there 1 minute, and then he disappears and appears right behind Mauve with the sword and stabs her in the gut, or the back, and yeah, the back, because it pierces her heart. And that was so cool to me, because like I said before, I saw it coming. I was like, when he mentioned that he couldn't do the quick teleportation thing during Elite and Lorcan's death scene, and he was like, I don't know if I can do it, because that was something I shared with my brother Connell, and he did it at the end when it mattered. And oh my God, I literally felt like Rowan and people who like don't know Aelin's plans, because throughout the whole book, Aelin's like, okay, we gotta come up with a plan, and then they came up with a plan, and we were like, what's the plan? And then we didn't know anything until it happened. And that was just like, I thought that was really cool to me, because when they were talking about, when Rowan was talking about how he had to stick with Aelin because they had to do the plan, I was like, what are you talking about? And then it happened, I think that was the same plan. I don't actually know, but then it happened at the end with Mauve, and I was like, now I know. Okay, I honestly don't really know what else to say other than the fact that I loved this book, and I think this is the first book that was like basically 1,000 pages that I've ever read, because like all the other books on my shelf, I think max maybe 800. This is 980 something, and I am really proud of myself for finishing this. And let me know if there's another book that's really good that's 1,000 pages long, because I love stuff like that. Except I have to be really dedicated. I was so dedicated to this book to read it all in 15 days with all the crap I have going on right now. But yeah, I think that's probably it for this one. Really unorganized, really late. I need to go to bed. I have school tomorrow, and I'm dying inside. And honestly, I don't think I told you guys this, but I've been telling my friends this. If you look in the last video, you'll know why I went to Target instead of Barnes & Noble for this book. Because the poster in the Barnes & Noble edition, really beautiful, really amazing. I don't know if I mentioned it in the last video. Not trying to drag the artist, Charlie. I follow her on Twitter. I love her artwork. But it wasn't the artwork that bothered me. It was just the fact that the poster wasn't like a poster. It was on the back of this dust cover thing. Oops. And I wanted it to be something I could actually hang up on my wall. But I couldn't do that because it has to cover the book, because it has to look nice. So my plan, I don't know if they still have exclusive Barnes & Noble editions with the poster and the stuff in the back, but my plan is to go back to Barnes & Noble, find a fairly good quality edition of the book with the poster and the special edition stuff in the back, get that book, take the cover off of it, put it up on my wall like it's the poster, take this cover off of the Target edition, put it on the Barnes & Noble edition, and then keep the Barnes & Noble edition with this cover on it so I could read the stuff in the back and have it with me. And then I'm going to sell the Target edition without the dust cover back to like Half Price Books or something. Hopefully they still have the poster editions, because if they don't, it's going to make me really sad, because I thought that was a genius plan. But yeah, that's really all I have to say about this book. I guess I could definitely say more, but I'm so tired and I'm so unorganized right now. Or disorganized. Interesting. And so, yeah, that was my Kingdom of Ash rant slash review, mostly rant. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more book videos, I have plenty of them from the past. You can scroll through my uploads. But yeah, if you want more, leave a comment and tell me what books you want me to review. End of the year is coming, so the book challenge is coming to a close. I am nowhere near finishing. Probably won't finish, but I will make a video about which books I read according to the list regardless. So look forward to that. So if you want to look forward to it, subscribe, because I will post that for sure, probably on New Year's Eve, just as a little wrap it up thing for the year. And that is all I have. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe like I said before, and hit the bell thingy. I've never said that in my video. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!